start off with quick introductions. I mean, Farouk, you've been here for the last hour, so you don't really need too much introduction. But
Yeah, they're tired of me.
Loxley, let's dig into your background. Who are you?
Yeah, man, I'm the CEO at Dastan, the parent company of Decrypt, Rug Radio, and now Myriad Markets. Farouk, you want to introduce yourself too? Because I know
Hi.
they saw you. But
I'm Farouk, president of
there you go
Dastan,
again.
founder of Rug Radio, and we also happen to own Decrypt Media, Myriad Markets, DGens, and Lucky Trader.
So basically, throughout the course of this conversation, I want to dig into Dastan in terms of what it's trying to do with Web3 media at large. And then, of course, we have to dig into Myriad, which is the latest product
Our
to
baby.
launch. Yes,
We had a baby together.
And it's very cute. So let's start off with Dastan. So it all really kicked off with the merger between Decrypt and Rug Radio. And then now, as we said, we have Myriad Markets that's entering the fold. What was the grand vision here? Like, what was the bird's eye view ambition that you guys are basically going after? Loxy, why don't we start with you?
Go for it.
Yeah, you know, a few years ago, when Farouk was building Rug Radio and the distribution model there originally, mostly social audio podcasting, he gave me a call and was curious if I wanted to help him build a next generation media company. And the first thing that we talked about and both agreed on was the idea that Rug Radio, because that's all we were at the time, needed to be a tech company that innovated and used emerging technology like blockchain and AI to innovate the media space, not just report on it. And so as we ended up becoming closer and closer to the team at Decrypt, we found an opportunity to combine our entity with their entity because we all agreed on the same thing, that we needed to innovate and to create an opportunity to really change the value distribution cycle within media so that instead of just extracting from consumers with advertising and farming their attention and their eyeballs, that we could realign the way that content creators, content consumers, and ultimately advertisers, sponsors of these content, would all share in the value distribution.
So decentralized media has been a bit of a buzzword. It's been around for the last few years. I think many have attempted it, many have failed. So what is it about Dastan that you think has that recipe for success?
Yeah, I mean, decentralization in general is like one of the biggest buzzwords in crypto. And it's like, what does it mean, right? Like, decentralization is not anarchy. And also communism never worked, to be honest, right? And so we tried. Like, we went the whole RugDAO route. We created a decentralized autonomous organization until that hit a wall. Because you get so big at some point that just, you can't run a big operation with like 10,000 people. That's just impossible. You can give it a shot. You can see governments. That just doesn't work, right? And so for us, decentralization, the way we approach it is giving the power to the people, right? So with Rug Radio, the way we started is I was creator 001, right? So Rug Radio was created after me. So I founded Rug Radio as a creator, and I'm like, how do I empower other people to do exactly what I do, right? And to get to where I'm at with my voice, right? By creating my content, right? And so that's how we approach the decentralized media aspect. Is, for example, Dudu's out there somewhere, I forget. He was hanging out around here, and Puke Rainbow and May, right? But they run the thing here. Like, they're so popular out in Asia, and they helped us build our own network here. Why and how? Because I empowered them to do so. We said, here's the brand. We're gonna start Rug Radio. We're gonna create like one of the most powerful, media brands in the industry. We're gonna work on empowering the brand, and you guys can just use this brand to your advantage as long as you respect the brand, right? So you gotta keep that in line always, right? Keep proper brand ethos, proper brand etiquette, and have a North Star, and then other people do their thing without like telling them how to do it. Like, my biggest pet peeve as a creator was always people trying to own me or trying to tell me how to do my thing. No, I do my own thing. I know what I'm doing, and I'm good at it. And so by allowing other creators to do so in a decentralized manner, without telling them what to do with their content or what sponsors to take or trying to eat from their cake, is letting them run with their own thing. And so that's how we kind of approach the whole like decentralized thing. Now, from a purist standpoint, it may not go the way Bitcoin did, right? But I truly believe that decentralized media in that sense made sense. And that's how we've always approached it on the Rug Radio level.
So the principle underpinning all of that is that decentralization is a spectrum. It's not the be all and end all, nor is it a binary where
Exactly.
you are either decentralized or you're not decentralized.
Exactly.
So it's about being able to provide brands the autonomy they require, the voice they require, and also the product that they actually want to deliver
Yeah.
without this top-down over-regimenting it.
Exactly.
Which is what makes, Web3 media so compelling, because if we were to compare it to conventional media, traditional media, many people lack trust in that domain. In many respects, traditional media is broken. So what is it that new platforms or new collectives like Dastan are trying to fix out of that broken model?
Ultimately, it comes down to incentive alignment, right? And when you look at like decentralization and what makes a group of people disagree or someone run amok, right? And people eventually resort to anarchy and, for lack of a better word, violence. Like none of us are out here with, with spears in the Web3 trenches, jabbing each other. But in some ways, we are, right? And it's when you can get a group of people together and understand the vision and align incentives so that we have fair distribution mechanisms, then we can live together peacefully, right? We can coexist. And so looking at media from that lens and that perspective, it was how do we take the traditional models that really incentivized the different parties in a very there was a lot of inequity in the way that the value was redistributed. And how do we re-envision that to a point where the people who are contributing to the content, both in terms of consumption and creation, feel like they are valued in the cycle versus just continuing to create and consume and being taken advantage of. And one of the analogies that I give a lot, and I've done in front of crowds, is ask people, how many of you have contributed to the content machine that is social media? And when I ask whether from the perspective of, how many of you have tweeted, how many of you have posted on Instagram, everyone raises their hand. They've all fed the machine, right? Then you ask the second question, how many of you feel like you have been fed by that machine? And all of the hands generally go down, with the exception of a few who may have had a brand sponsorship deal or feel like social media somehow or another, or the media machine enriched their life, but it's not common. And so our primary imperative, our job is to say, how do we fix this core fundamental problem where platforms like Google and Facebook, or Meta now, I guess, right, extract so much of the value from the core contributors. And that's really the driving ethos behind the technologies that we're building.
So then if we were to basically take social media, user-generated content, and then we were also to take conventional, traditional media, and then we're to introduce principles of decentralization, incentive alignment, what we're looking at is quite a bit of fragmentation. So how do we make sure that we are not only aligning incentives, but we're making sure that everyone is covered? Or who are we focusing on when we talk about aligning incentives?
I mean, it's from the brand to the creator to the network participant, right? I think the person who's gotten the least amount of value from media is the reader, and it should start from there. It's supposed to be top down, right? Like, at the end of the day, that's the reason why Zuckerberg's a billionaire and the rest are not. Good for him. He built a great business. I'm a fan. But I don't think it's fair that the basic reader, all we got is brain rot. You know what I mean? Like, the average person does this all day long, and there's actually zero value it goes back to. Now, hey, I like to consume a little bit of content too sometimes. I like my watches. I like watching, videos of cars online when I need to maybe shut the brain off. But at the end of the day, there's absolutely zero freaking value that you're getting from it. And you actually, it's actually pretty unhealthy. It's like it's like eating McDonald's 3 times a day, but you're doing it all day long. Do you guys eat McDonald's every day? No, you don't. But you do it on social media. You consume with your brain, right? It's even worse. And so I think that it's very important to align all the incentives from every single standpoint, right? So creators are the fuel that makes social media great. People can hate on creators all they want, whatever they want, but without creators, you have nothing to consume at all.
You have no
right?
content.
There's nothing,
Yeah.
right? And so whether it be, I don't know, cooking videos or what I do with my morning show. I think we drive a lot of value to the industry by bringing the news every morning to people. What CoinDesk does, shout out to CoinDesk, the journalist over at Decrypt. But at the end of the day, again, the network participant gets absolutely nothing. And even in crypto, from a food chain perspective, the last person that becomes exit liquidity is always the freaking participant, right? It starts with the founders, down to the creators that always make sure to eat their cake, and then the participant that always ggets wrecked, almost 99.99% of the time. So I think that genuinely, I think we're going to get there in a second with Myriad, is a good way to align these incentives from the bottom back up, where the participant actually gets a piece out of it, gets to put the reputation on chain, gets to participate within network, and gets a piece of that network back to it. Then the creator that is empowered by the participant, and then of course the people that are responsible for it all.
So it's about creating a better system of symbiosis.
Flip it upside down.
Right. So
It's a circle,
Yeah.
but the thing's gotta be flipped upside down a little bit.
So taking it from something that's quite traditionally extractive to something that's a bit more reciprocal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tough. Look, it's not like we figured it out, right? Lux and I are trying. Nobody's figured it out, or else we'd be trillionaires, right? But I think at some point we'll get there. I think we'll figure it out at some point. But